Welcome to episode 88, Believe You Me, which is an expression I used to hear a lot growing up in Jamaica, where people like the doubling up in certain phrases where an extra word is used for emphasis, or as I put it, Jamaican aphorism. Anyhow, while I don't hear the phrase much these days, I'll use it here to say, Believe you me, it's a good idea for you to have closed captioning on. If you Google the phrase, as I still do for stuff pending any chat GPT takeover, you will be advised that it's an old Northern Irish expression that spread to the Americas and basically means believe me. The U is simply added for emphasis. And even so, the phrase with that U is actually grammatically correct English. Anyhow, I was thinking about the phrase recently after reading this article by S.I. Rosenbaum in the New York Times called I Fantasized About Multiple Timelines and It Nearly Ruined My Life. Believe you me, I thought S.I. Rosenbaum was trying to tell me something, just by coincidence. But then I thought, I'm not fantasizing about multiple timelines or a multi universe theory. I'm just saying what I believe is possible. Of course, anybody who hears this belief of mine is free to tell me it's just a fantasy or bullshit. In fact, several people already have. But after all, it's the same way I myself view a lot of religious manuscripts and books. I see them as the words of some man and a very, very occasional woman describing what he and the very, very occasional her or they say a supreme being conveyed to them. If enough people believe the words of this person, then we have a religion where that person's words are interpreted as being the words of the supreme being. And that's all that a religion is. Enough people believe in somebody who says, Believe you me, this is what the Supreme Being says and wants. That somebody could be the Pope or Billy Graham or his ghost, or your pastor or minister or imam or rabbi or amma, or your shaman or witch doctor. It could even be you or me or one of our neighbors who suddenly gets the spirits and claims to have had some vision. It all depends on who can convince enough people to believe them. Who can convince enough people to have faith in their vision? Internal joke. Of course, if you can perform magic and come back from the dead, you do have an advantage. Once you have faith in somebody's vision, you become a believer in whatever that person is preaching or telling you about what a supreme being wants of you. And nobody can convince you otherwise. Unless, of course, like I've talked about, you have some epiphany of sorts. I mean, people change religions all the time, right? That's what conversion is all about. Believe you me. Unlike S.I. Rosenbaum, I don't believe what I believe about there being multiple universes is ruining me. I say that because, unlike Evelyn, as played by Michelle Yeoh in the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, which S.I. Rosenbaum references, I'm not trying to get to some other timeline or universe other than the one I'm in. For better or worse, good or bad, I think we are all stuck in whichever universe or timeline we are in. Our only escape is our imagination, as fantasizing, for example, the Marvel movies or in the mind of someone certified. Internal joke, like you. It's just a matter of how and how long we are a player in the video game like world of life. To me, that's not a question of faith, but of fate. Of course, as I've mentioned throughout my blog, I don't argue religion. When it comes to religion, everybody is entitled to their own belief. However, nobody should try to impose their religious belief or theology or values on others. You can say or preach your religious belief in an effort to win converts. But at the end of the day, you have to respect the religious beliefs or lack thereof of others. Otherwise, as we have seen historically with religions, we end up with conflict.